To make our next presentation, please welcome the 1984 Super Heavyweight Olympic champion and Australia's only weightlifting Olympic gold medalist, Dean Lucan. Our next inductee has left an indelible legacy on our sporting nation.
Where do you start with Sam Coffer's contribution to the Commonwealth Games movement, weightlifting, and to sport in general? Sam's involvement began as a competitor over 60 years ago. He was a six-time Australian champion and represented Australia at the 1962 Commonwealth Games and at both the World Championships and Olympic Games in 1964. Sam's impact as an administrator has been enormous. As chairman of Commonwealth Games Australia for 2 decades, his vision and leadership have been pivotal in Australia hosting the Games with great success, twice in 12 years. He served as deputy chairman of the organising committees for both Melbourne in 2006 and the Gold Coast in 2018 Commonwealth Games, and as an executive member of the Commonwealth Games Federation. Under his direction, Commonwealth Games Australia established a foundation of more than $60 million to support its sports and athletes. As president of the Australian Weightlifting Federation and vice president of the International Weightlifting Federation for a quarter of a century, Sam was a champion of inclusion and gender equality. He was instrumental in gaining approval for the introduction of women's weightlifting events at the Sydney Olympics. Sam has been awarded the Order of Australia for services to weightlifting, youth and community. In recognition of his contribution to the Commonwealth Games movement and more than 60 years involvement in weightlifting, Sam Coffer AM is inducted as a general member into the Sport Australia Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Sport Australia Hall of Fame one of our finest sporting administrators, Sam Coffer AM. Come over, Sam.
Thank you. Good, I have the roving one because I never find a podium which is user-friendly.
No,
I like people to see me whilst,
I had a feeling you might have said that. But on a serious note, what a journey for you. Am I right in saying it basically started when you were a teenage surgical bootmaker in Glenferrie Road in Hawthorn? Tell me the story.
Well, the story is that I think at that stage I had not decided what sport I wanted to do. I came from Australia, from Italy in 1952, 51, late 51. And I was only 15. At the age of 12, I was as tall as I am now. So I was going to be a giant in my village. In fact, I was the goalkeeper of the soccer team. So,
what have I done to get Alan Moffat and now you?
So when I came to the country, to this lovely country, it was a land of giants. I looked at myself in the mirror and I thought, what the heck am I supposed to do? And I wanted to be everything to everybody, to all the girls in the world, And I was a coward at boxing. I didn't want to do this. Anyway, the story is that the Olympic Games in 1956, the training hall was in the drill hall in Drill Street, Hawthorn, and that was within a matter of 2 minutes away from my shop. And so my brother and I and my father used to run that, and of course I used to run there every day, and the bloke behind there thought, Jesus, this bloke is a blasted nuisance, And so he said, listen, if you're going to come in, stay at the door and open the door. And I said, if you're good enough, then you will be the doorman at the 56 Olympic Games. And I was a doorman at the Royal Ballroom when the Olympic Games took place.
Great story. Great story. Did management administration, it was something you, am I right in saying, took to very early on, because that one of the things you did was the Hawthorn, I think at the Boys Club, you wanted to change it, did you not, to the Hawthorn Youth Club so that girls could participate as well?
Yeah, well, I could not believe, I could not understand why boys and girls couldn't use the same facilities. I really couldn't. And I joined the Hawthorn Boys Club, as it was, and asked the question, why are no girls here? They said, oh, where do you come from? I mean, you can't have boys and girls together, So that was my campaign, 4 or 5 years, and going back and forth to the council. Eventually, we finished up with the Hawthorn Citizens Youth Club.
Sam, 20 years as President of the Commonwealth Games Australia, what is your greatest legacy, do you believe?
Oh, I think the greatest legacy is that the Commonwealth Games is unique in this country. The Commonwealth Games Association is unique in this country. I mean, we have a corporation which is self-sufficient and going very well, and we haven't lost too many medal tallies, and we did a few in Glasgow, but we clobbered the Poms up in the 2018.
And the $60 million fund, the legacy, I mean, that's something quite extraordinary.
Oh yes, but look, I'm the front man. Behind me there were great people like Perry Crosswhite and now Craig Phillips, of course, and a great board. If you don't have a great board to work with and all pulling together and all going in the same directions, you don't succeed. So
You're an athlete and you're an administrator. What was more challenging?
Oh, I think administrating is far more. I mean, you go up on the stage, you lift or you don't lift. You know what I mean? Like but when you are dealing with the likes of the late Arthur Tunstall and people like that, you knew you were in a fight.
Say no more. Sam, I'm absolutely wrapped for you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Sam Coffer, AM, ladies and gentlemen, inducted into the Sport Australia Hall of Fame.